So, you guys know I talk a lot about racism on my YouTube channel. And, well, truth be told, this was a part that I meant to post in October, because I posted the first two parts in September, but I never really got around to editing it and posting it, so yeah, sorry about that. And also, FYI, this video was shot in my old school, yes, but it was shot around in August. So like there's a big time gap. I haven't been in there since. Many things have changed, and also many references in the video might be a little outdated, but I still believe they're important, and there's also a lot of interesting things we sort of want to discuss. So I hope you guys will watch the full video, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy.
I may get some hate about this, but I honestly don't really care because I think this issue should be addressed. So these black dogs, I think it was like a white girl that was just on her way home, but then these black dogs came up to her and started literally punched her off her bike and stole like a lot of her stuff. And she was there for like a good minute saying, I need my stuff, I can't go back to the apartment. I may be over exaggerating this because I don't exactly remember the full story because I have a bad memory.
Me too.
But then I got another white guy drove up and said like, hey, stop what you're doing, come on man, that's not cool, and try to get the stuff back. But then these black dogs literally pushed him onto the ground, and I don't know if they started beating on him, but his head started bleeding, and the guys and the black dogs were saying like, you such an N-word. Again, I may be over exaggerating the story, but I mean you get the idea. And so like I don't know, like what do you like just serve?
I think right now everyone is so hate, like everyone is full of hate. And right now the lines are blurred. Like we don't know who's racist, who's not, and now we're being told we're all racist. That's and even at work, like we've talked about this. I work in a school, in case you didn't know. And even at work, like we stand around and it's hard for us because we've even said it. It's like we are so careful about what we say because we understand that systemically, we are all raised to be racists. But it's hard for someone to say, hey, I know I'm not a racist, and then someone else goes, yes, you are, right? Like, it's very, you have to be so careful, and that's why I get why you're saying what you're saying. It is a very dangerous time when it comes to words. Mm-hmm. We have to be careful, because everything you say can still be twisted, right?
Very much.
And I think that's what it is. That's exactly what the problem is that now everyone is feeling like, okay, you look at me the wrong way, you're a racist. You don't say hi to me, you're a racist. In my case, I don't respond to somebody, they actually called me racist. No joke. So, everyone's on edge. With coronavirus, we are antsy and losing our minds and ready to get out of the house and And if you're me, you just want everyone to stay away and keep their distance and stay clean. And then you have this situation, you have people who are financially, like, in absolute dire straits right now because they haven't worked since March, right? So there's a lot happening, and I think because there's so many god-awful things happening, like, I mean, these protests from the get-go were referred to as riots when they were protests, and you saw who made it a riot. It wasn't the protesters in many situations, not all, but I think because you have all that, it's become kind of like Tasmanian devil, like you've just got way too many storms. It's like the perfect storm. It's like you've got this coming over here with racism, this coming over here with COVID, this coming over here with people in financial dire, like just hardship. And it's to the point where people are just done. So do I agree with what they did? Hell no.
Obviously not.
Obviously no. But do I understand where it's coming from in the sense of not condoning what happened, not saying I would do the same, but I'm saying there's so much anger right now. There is so much anger in the world right now, and you have somebody who's just making people angrier. And it's like anything that the Democrats say in the States makes the Republicans angry. Anything the Republicans say, or, that one, makes them angry, makes the Democrats angry. So you just have a country full of anger. Like, you really do. And there's no love for the police, so there's no safety. The police in Portland especially is basically like a war zone right now. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, there's ways to handle things. I mean, even with me and how I do things, like, there's ways to handle things and create less of like, the explosion doesn't need to impact so much stuff. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, with the way things are going, with the way he speaks, with the way the media because it is biased in so many ways, the way the media presents it has created this god awful anger that people can't control anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that, because you see it all the time. Like you Vancouver not so much, but even then, like, it's people are edgier here too, right? Like it's we used to be a pretty chill place, and now it's there's
incidents.
angst.
There's like incidents popping up every now and then.
And it's people, because people are angry and they are selfish. It comes back to our beginning.
Yeah, it all loops around.
It all loops around, because I'm gonna say that, you know, my mom used to always say, because I'm old, I always gotta go. My mom used to always say, for every 10 things you ask for, you only get 2 yeses. So you be careful what you ask for. You never know when you're going to get the yes, and you might get the yes for something you don't really want.
Oh.
And that teaches you that you're not always going to get what you want in life. But unfortunately, it seems like people now, they don't earn things. Like, I worked 3 jobs. I worked 2 jobs while I was in high school, 3 jobs when I was in university. When I finally bought my house, I went down to 1 job. But, like, I didn't expect things. I didn't think I deserved it. I didn't think that I was owed to me. And I think a lot of society now feels that they're entitled to things. There's that word that I have to use very carefully. Because it is, though, right? Like, it's expected that these things will be there for you, or that you'll be given these things. Whereas we were a generation where, or at least I was a tail end of a generation, where nothing was given to you. You earned it, and if you didn't earn it, well, you didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what's changed in the mindset of people, is that, like, it's mine. Like, no, what do you mean? I get that. Like, I'm here, like, the restaurant that we saw in the interior.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the guy didn't want to wait. Well, I don't know about you guys, but COVID has slowed everybody down. Everything is slow now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't do anything like you used to be able to, just whip in, whip out, because everyone's got to slow down, maintain social distance, sanitize, blah, 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 take your temperature, all that. It's selfish to think that you get to go in and get what you want and get out when you want it. Don't you think? Like,
yeah.
Whatever happened to being patient and like,
caring?
Yeah, like, again, it comes to, but yeah, that I think that the entitlement and being selfish has a lot to do with why we are here.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, it's like I think this is kind of going off in a different direction.
You know me, I'm all about tangents.
Yeah, but this is kind of going off in a different direction. But I think there's sort of this mentality of, if one thing is like this, that everything's like this, and just like how every police are not bad, obviously, but there's sort of this line of like just like
We just like to paint things with a brush and just stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
But then stereotype comes back to racism.
For sure.
Because if we have stereotypes, then we're not learning who people are and getting to know them. We're just assuming they are who they are based on their job, their race, their anything. And it's like, that's not fair. It's like, we work with police officers here.
Mm-hmm.
And our police officers are running basketball programs. One of our police officers in the past has taken kids from Vancouver to Mount Kilimanjaro, hiked Mount Kilimanjaro, all of that. He even trained them to do the Seattle Marathon, and he does the Seattle Marathon with them. There's so much good that comes out of policing because of these relationships that are built. But unfortunately, they get stereotyped, right? They get to be painted with all the same brush, which is, ACAB, and I don't agree with that.
For sure.
Especially, I'm sorry, but I find that, in my experience, and I've had a couple encounters with the police, if you're a jerk to them, they're a jerk to you.
Honestly, I think that's pretty much with any person. If you're a jerk to me, then I'm gonna be a jerk to you. Honestly,
exactly my point, and that's all I'm saying is, like, I am not saying, well, look at how the person treated them, they deserved it. That's not what I'm saying, because in many situations that I've seen, obviously George Floyd, that whole thing, he didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
Honestly, I think even if someone is guilty of a crime, like if they're stealing something, unless someone's life is in danger, nobody should deserve to die. Police are not a judge, executioner, and just like.
Agreed, and that's what I'm saying is, do I think that their training needs to change so that they can do their job without the excessive force. And then sometimes the excessive force is necessary because you don't know what that person has, or you don't know what that person's on. But like, why can't you shoot him in the knee? Why can't you shoot him in the shoulder? Why can't you, like, all these things? So do I think that the training needs to be changed? Yes. Am I a police officer? No. Do I know anything about policing? No. So please don't think that I'm telling them how to do their jobs. But that just also goes for you and all of us. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't know what their job entails, maybe you should learn it before you judge them.
For sure.
And that goes to the original statement of we shouldn't be stereotyping people. Because that's
Definitely.
the problem, is like we're saying, okay, well, because you brought up that one, we'll just use that for example, because that group of black guys, the black thugs is what you said they're called, oh, so then all black people, that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's like saying all Chinese people are good at math. That's the stereotype, right? Like, that is so unfair. I suck at math. That is not right.
and I mean, and that's honestly the statement that we've been fighting against, and just like honestly I think Black Lives Matter should honestly, it should be like a symbol of what we're trying to achieve.
I think
of
it is.
like just not just like leaving racism behind.
I think it is. I think Black Lives Matter, to be honest, isn't a Black Lives, just Black Lives.
Oh, for sure.
The point of Black Lives Matter is to say, look, you guys don't hold these people in an equal light as your own people. And that goes for if there's an investigation, if there's a check-in, anything. They don't view them the same way. Just like here in Canada, I wouldn't say we have a problem with Black lives as much as we have with Indigenous lives.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like here, the way that the Indigenous people have been treated over the years has been atrocious. And we know that. We've learned our history. We are trying to make up for that. But we at least are learning Indigenous history. Still, we need to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing compared. Like, the states do not recognize what they've done. So there's a lack of education there. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lack of true understanding about what they are actually doing to their people. Whereas here, I feel like the majority of us know what the Canadian government did. We
Yeah.
know about residential housing. We know about taking their land. We know about firewater. We know all about that.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I find that our generation, I'm including you in this because we're
By all means,
I am a
yeah.
millennial, but well, technically I'm not. But anyway, we don't look at First Nations people the same way that maybe our aunts and uncles did who were born in Vancouver,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, so that's already changed because we're educated on it, and I think that's the biggest thing that we can do to break stereotypes, is to educate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of hating on cops, how about you have a conversation with them? Like, I honestly had a conversation with a cop a police officer, I should say, about this situation. Because I'm like, how are you feeling? How does this suck for you or what? Because I also know that this person, does a lot with the youth in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that I think we need to really stop and look at is, I mean, was it in Ohio? I can't remember. At the very beginning of the protests in the States, there was one cop who actually took a knee with them. And then everybody else in that area took a knee. Maybe it was Michigan. I think it was Flint, Michigan. And he took him a knee with them. And he was 100% in solidarity with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm saying, is that there are many good people out there, and to stereotype everybody based on their profession or their race, that tells everybody that you're basically useless. You're a bigot because you can't see past your own self.
Mm-hmm.
You're selfish.
Hate the system, not the people.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, God, you're missing out on great people.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many good people out there.
Yeah.
And every color. Like, my cousins, I come from a very mixed race family. So we have
Mhm.
Malaysian, we have, my cousins are half Vietnamese and black, and Chinese. And so I have all these, and instead of looking at people and going, oh, he's black, how about you look at people and go, how's it going? Have a conversation with people. That's it.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Because at the end of the day, we all eat, sleep, breathe, poo, cry, get emotional. We all feel the same feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And back to my reference of dogs. We're just like dogs, but different breeds.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
So I'm gonna cut it right here because, well, I wanted to make this the final part into like a 3-set trilogy. To be honest, we kind of talked for even longer, and there's just too many sort of good things we sort of go into that I just decided I'm gonna make it part 4. But yeah, and don't worry, that video will be coming out much sooner. Anyway, so most of these videos are popping up on the screen. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and remember guys, do what you love what you do. Peace.